Verse 5 now. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Alright, so that's what he does. He gathers to himself all nations, so that they could be under his jurisdiction, his type of his way of thinking, his philosophy. That's breaking down his wine. Okay, I told you that in Revelations the 18th chapter 2. Okay? It said all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Okay? Because that's his philosophy, his way of thinking. And he tries to force that upon these different nations. Alright? Which is the wrong way. Alright? Having transsexuals and homosexuals running rampant, alright, and women being whores in your society, that's not a way of living, man. That's not the right way to live. Okay? But that's how these Edomites want to promote it to these other nations, right? India just legalized, made homosexuality legalized, man. How is that going to push forward that nation, man? Like that, you know? How is that going to make that nation any better? You know? It's not. Okay? It's just going to lead it into further condemnation and further destruction. That's going to bring disease, all right? It's going to have the population go down, you know? That's what it's going to do. But that's all of the mindset of the Edomites. That's the Edomites pushing their philosophy on these other nations. Okay? And while they're doing that, they're destroying those other nations. Okay? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him? And saying, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay, which is talking about thick debt. Alright? But these other nations are going to be basically complaining and bringing up proverbs against you. Alright? Because of the wickedness that you committed, man. Alright? They see the madness that you're doing. And I'm speaking of the door, too party, man. You know? You know? This is how it goes, man. This is what Esau's brought, man. Nothing but a bunch of freakism on the planet, man. Right? He ain't here to bring righteousness. All right? Because if he was here to bring righteousness, the kingdom of heaven would have been here, man. Okay? But these Edomites are here are set up here to bring forth wickedness, man. All right? Because the Most High set up these Edomites for a reason, but you Jakes have fallen into the trap of the wicked, man. All right, you Jakes have become more wicked than the wicked themselves, man. All right, you took onto the philosophy, you ran with it. All right, which has done nothing but destroyed you since you took it on, man. All right, but listen, the Most High is gonna bring destruction to you, right along with the Edomites, man. Not only the Edomites, but you're gonna die right alongside with the Edomites, man. Okay? Let me get Zechariah Zechariah 13, man. All right, this is Zechariah 13, verse 8. All right. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. All right? That's talking about the elect, the 1/3. Let me read that from the top. All right, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Which means 2 parts, 2/3 of our people, all right, the nation of Israel will be cut off and die. All right, so they're going to get judgment just like the rest of these heathen are going to get judgment. All right, why? Because they're not taking heed to the Most High. They're taking heed to the philosophies of these Edomites, man. All right, they want to be homosexuals. You know, they want to be homosexuals. They want to dress like women. You know, they want to, you know, sag their pants, cut off their beard. All right, eat all types of abominations, and commit adultery. All right, this is what the people of our nation are doing, man. All right, so the Most High said, you know what? Let me do away with the 2/3 of our people, man. Let me cut off 2/3 of the nation of Israel, man. All right? And I'm going to leave the 1/3. All right, let me read that, verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say it is my people, and they shall say the Lord is my power. All right? So the Most High is going to only deliver the elect of the nation of Israel, which is going to be equivalent to 1/3. All right? Including the 144,000. All right? Those are the only ones that are going to make it. Anyone outside of that is not going to make it, man. Okay? So you Israelites think just because you're Israelites, all right, and you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right, so to speak, you think that's it? It's not, man. You have, first and foremost, you have to have faith, okay? You know, and you have to be of that chosen seed ultimately, man. If you're not of that chosen spirit, then you're not going to make it anyway, man. Okay? But 2/3 of the nation of Israel, man, are just ultimately going to be wicked. That's what it is, man. And the 1/3 is going to be righteous in the spirit. Okay? Regardless of how they are in the outward, okay, they're going to be righteous in the spirit. All right? Because that's what the Most High looks for. He looks for the inward. He looks for the spirit. All right? What makes us superior to these Edomites and these other nations? Right? It's not the fact that we have more money. All right? It's not the fact that we you know, we're physically superior, yes, but that's not what makes us superior. Because you might have an Edomite that's stronger than an Israelite. But that Israelite is still superior to that Edomite, man. Why? Because of our spirit. That's what it's all about. It's about the spirit. Okay? These Edomites can't do what we do. All right? It's a spiritual thing, man. Okay? You see dancing, singing, all those type of forms of entertainment. That's spiritual, man. Okay? An Edomite can't really, you know, get into it how you can get into it, man. Okay? That's just the fact of the matter. That goes back to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I get that, man. Goes back to Deuteronomy 7 and 6, man. The fact that that the Israelites were created to be above the Edomites, all right? We were created to be better, all right? That's why we can do what we do, all right? It's not because of physical, you know, yes, we're physically stronger and all that, but it has something to do with the spirit, man. The spirit is stronger than the flesh, man. Okay? Like, you might not be able to physically lift a certain amount, but if your spirit is strong enough, you can do it, man. All right? That goes into what? Spiritual power. All right? Our people have spiritual power on a low level. Okay? Because what? We're the sons of God. We're Yashar Aleph. He is a prince of the power, man. All right? This is Deuteronomy 7. This is Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. And it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth," man. All right? So the Israelites were chosen to be above all people that are upon the face of the earth, man. Okay? We were chosen, man. That's the reason. All right? Going back to Abraham, right? The Most High gave him a promise, said, listen, man, your seed, all right, will inherit the kingdom. They will be above all nations. They'll be blessed forever. All right? And that promise went from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Which is our forefather. So that's why we have the blessing. That's why these Edomites, they don't know why they hate on us, man. They don't even know why, man. Spiritually, it's because of that. Because we have the blessing, man. It's the jealousy at the end of the day, man. Okay? That's really why these Edomites be on you like that. Okay? Because they know you have something they don't have. Alright? You go back to, and Esau hates to see that, man. He hates to see that. You go back to the Black Wall Street, man. Okay? That's when the Jakes were in like Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had like this little so-called black community, right? They had their own currency. This is like post-slavery, right? They had like their own currency. They had like everyone there was like high-end doctors, lawyers. They had money. Everyone in that society had money. Okay, and it was like a big community. What happened was they were doing better than the Edomites in the surrounding communities, man. Okay? So what did Esau do? Because other nations were even coming to trade with them, man. All right? So what did Esau do? Esau actually, he made an excuse, right? Some bullshit excuse. And he went there with the army and bombed those so-called Negroes, man. All right? And told them that Black Wall Street. Okay? So that's to show you it's really about jealousy, man, at the end of the day. That's one of Esau's main things is jealousy, man. All right? When Jacob stole that birthright, Esau said, what? Yo, man, I'll wait till the days of when my father's dead and I will slay my brother Jacob, man. Going back to who? Going back to Cain, man. All right? Because Esau has the same spirit of Cain. The reason Cain slew Abel was based upon jealousy, man. You know, Abel sacrificed a more perfect. Matter of fact, let me get it, man. All right? It was all based upon jealousy, man. Okay? Genesis 3. I think it's Genesis 3. Okay, this is Genesis 3:14. And the Lord power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. All right? And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. All right? So the seed of the serpent, right, which is not an actual serpent, it's actually a man with serpent-like characteristics, man. Okay? That's what it was.